The opportunity to come here to Tewksbury, and I know there's a lot of other towns out here represented, so I appreciate everybody spending the Saturday afternoon here. I'm going to give you a little background on myself first, because obviously there's not a lot of people that have met me before, or even read or seen much about me, so I'll just give you a little background, then I'll go into exactly why I'm running, and I would love the opportunity to answer any kind of questions you guys have afterwards. So, my name is Gabriel, and I'm not a politician, never have been a politician, and I'm running for the United States Senate. My parents immigrated here a year before I was born. They came here from Colombia. And when I was born, my mom didn't know any English, and so I learned Spanish first. And I ended up learning English when I went to school. My mom, she learned English, going to the grocery store and basically talking to her neighbors. So, I grew up in a typical middle-class family, except our last name is Gomez. And at a young age, I knew that I wanted to serve and give back to the country, which embraced my parents with open arms and gave them the opportunities that they came to America for, not just for themselves, but also for their kids. And so I applied to the Naval Academy. After graduating from the Naval Academy, I went to flight school and became a Navy pilot. I flew on and off aircraft carriers for a few years, and then felt a higher call as a naval officer, and I wanted to become a Navy SEAL. Now at that time, my commanding officer, all my friends in the squadron, and all the other buddies in the Navy did everything they could to try to talk me out of it. I was class leader of SEAL Training Class 181 out in Coronado, and I came out to the East Coast, down to Virginia Beach, and was the platoon commander of SEAL Team 4. During my first SEAL detachment, I had a great time in the Navy, obviously, and I had a great time in the SEAL teams. But the highlight was, during my first SEAL detachment, I met a beautiful young woman named Sarah. Now, Sarah was a Peace Corps volunteer down in the West Indies, and she was a teacher at school for children with special needs. And so imagine that, you've got the Peace Corps volunteer, and you've got a Navy SEAL. These are like two of the best things that America has to offer. It was more challenging to convince Sarah that I was doing good than it was actually going through SEAL training stuff. Including talking to her friends that were not the same political mindset, luckily, as my wife at that time. So after 9 years in the Navy, I decided to get out, and I went to Harvard Business School, and then I've been in the private sector for 16 years, helping companies grow and be successful. The most rewarding part of my job really has been to help manage and invest and grow the retirement funds of public servants. Public servants like police officers, firefighters, teachers, many of them right here in Massachusetts. And in doing that, I've seen exactly what the burden is on these businesses nowadays. And we see it all the time in our own business here in the community and everywhere else, with all the regulation, with Obamacare, with the banking industry, with Dodd-Frank, and I could go on forever, but I've got 10 minutes in order to finish here and answer questions. But, I've seen that firsthand, been able to deal with it on all the companies that we've invested in and help them grow and be successful. And there's got to be something you can do about it, because as everybody here knows, it's getting very much out of control. People ask me, why are you doing this? You've got a great family, you've got a good reputation, politics is dirty, it's a nasty game. They're going to smear my good name. And on top of that, if you actually win, when you do win, you've actually got to go down here and serve in that cesspool down there with the career politicians. Well, I let them know that, I understand all that, and I was a SEAL, I'm a decent swimmer, and I swim a little bit worse than cesspools down in DC, so I'm not really worried about that part. But the reason I'm running, it's really, really simple, actually. People ask me this as well. They go, why are you running? And I tell them, I want to serve. I served my first 9 years out of college in the Navy, and I had a great time as a pilot and SEAL. And I've been in the private sector for 16 years, helping companies grow and be successful. And I want to go back and serve again. I've got 4 kids. They're 13 down to 8. And when my parents came here a year before I was born, they came here for the American dream, and they came here so that they could have a better life, not just for themselves, but for their kids and their kids' kids. And what I see right now, with my kids at 13 to 8, I don't think, and I'm not guaranteed, that my kids are going to be better off than I am. In each generation, I think all of us can agree that each generation should have it better than the generation before it. At least the same opportunities, and I'd rather, try, even if I fail, than to just stay on the sidelines and complain. And I want to be part of the solution down in DC. I've got a very diverse background, both as a life experiences and work experiences. I've served our country. I've been in the private sector for 16 years, as I mentioned. Working in the economy, working with companies, knowing what works, knowing exactly what is impeding the growth of these companies, what they're scared of, why they're not investing right now, and what the right solutions are. And I think with that whole set of broad experiences, and I'm not a career politician, never have been a politician, and I wear that with a badge of honor. I've never been in public office before in my life. And I think the problem we have right now is that we've got too many career politicians down in DC, and the sequestration is a perfect example of what's going on down in DC right now. What they've done is they've bottled up a virus and they mailed it to themselves. And all of a sudden it came in the mail about a week and a half ago. And they haven't had the courage to actually deal with this. And I think what they need is they need fresh people, fresh ideas, with solutions that are proven, that have been done before. And that's exactly why I'm running. And I would love to get to know you and get your support down the road. Because I know that this race is very winnable, both in the primary as well as in the general election. So, thank you very much.
I'm with Marco Rubio, where he is now. Let's get secure the order first. There should be some pathway for, undocumented workers that haven't broken the law.